Hi, I'm Beth with TB Properties Buys Land, and this is the second video in a series of discussion on what can influence the offer price when someone's trying to purchase your vacant land. Okay, so in the first video we talked about access to your property, whether it's physical or legal access. We also talked about utilities and what that means and what people are looking for. Another thing that can influence the value that's offered to you to purchase your vacant land property is topography of your property. Now, it depends, maybe you're here in North Texas and land is pretty flat, but in different parts of the country, land can take on different topography. I was looking at a piece of property, I thought, wow, this is great. And then I started looking at the topography and I realized it was a gorge, and so there was really no place to even build on that property. So maybe you've got 20 acres, maybe it's 40 acres, but if it's so steep that nobody can really, they can't get to it or they cannot build on that property. We also understand that when it comes to when I say build, maybe somebody just wants to be able to have 40 acres to go hunt on. They want to put a shack out there just so they can go and spend the overnight. Or they've got that shed where they can just store some things. When it comes to building on your property, you may know this already, but there are certain county specifications where you have what's called a setback. You can't build right there on the edge of your property. And you really don't want your neighbor building right there on the border of your property. But if your topography is such that it's so steep that the only place is right there on the border, that means that you can't build, really at all. So topography is really important. Being able to get to the property, in a vehicle safely, and is it a an all year round property, or is this only a fair weather property? And that contributes to the value that could be offered for your vacant land property. If snow is going to affect being able to get there, if rain is going to be able to affect getting there, that's going to possibly devalue your property in general. But again, those topographical lines, being able to see what that looks like via satellite images on Google Earth. And if you've got a flood zone on your property, if you've got a FEMA A flood zone, that affects where you being able to build on your property and being able to get insurance. Flooding. What else? Wetlands. Okay, being a wetland property, that influences whether you can build or how you can build, and that sort of thing. Approvals that you have to have. Being able to, even if you want to cut your property in half, sometimes that's you can't do that with the flood zone type property. So it can limit what people can do with their own property if it's in a flood zone, if there's topographical situations there that could diminish the value. So something to be aware of when it comes to the value of your property is topography, as well as flood zone, wetlands, and things like that. So I hope that helps. Here at TB Properties Buys Land, we buy property all over the United States. We pay cash for your property through a title company. We try to close fairly quickly. That's about 4 to 5 weeks through a title company. We are not the kind of group that will send you a contract and then just try to sell your property before buying it. I know we've talked to people who've been strung out for a period of time, but that's not what we do. We buy your property outright is what we do. So anyway, if you have questions, reach out to us across our website, give us a call, shoot us an email. We look forward to working with you. Thanks again.